Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Kayla, also known as Thrifty Mom of Two here on this YouTube channel. And today I have a video that I've been promising you guys, and it's all about my personal tips and tricks for sourcing for inventory online. I was hoping to get this video up sooner. I did already film it, so this is my second time filming this video. However, the first time I filmed it, when I went to go edit the video, the footage was all messed up and I couldn't use it. So I am filming this video again. So better late than never, I hope. So I know that in some parts of the country, thrift stores have started to open back up and people are able to source for inventory by going out to thrift stores and sourcing in person again. However, I live out here in California, and at least in my area, the thrift stores are still remaining closed. And as far as I can tell, it may be another couple months before they reopen. The last article I found online said it could be into July, beginning of August at the earliest. So I don't know if that's true, but if that's the case, then I'm definitely going to be continuing to source online for the next couple of months. So yeah, I wanted to share with you guys my tips and tricks for finding the best deals and how I decide what to purchase online, what's a good purchase, just because typically I am paying up a little bit for items because you have to consider the fact that you are paying for shipping and tax when you're buying inventory online. I have my little notebook with some notes that I wrote for this video, so if you see me looking down, it's just because I'm going over my notes, just because I want to make sure that I don't forget to tell you guys anything. So I have been primarily sourcing for inventory on Poshmark and Mercari to resell on Poshmark, Mercari, and Ebay. So most of these tips are going to apply to Poshmark and Mercari. However, I think a lot of these can also apply if you're searching on other sites for inventory as well. I want to break down Poshmark, how I use the filter tool and what I look for to find the best deals, and also break down Mercari because there are a few features that are a little bit different on each platform. But first I wanted to mention something that is just a personal recommendation from me. Hopefully some of you don't get upset by me saying this. It's just something that I personally recommend. If you do this and it works out well for you, then obviously continue to do that. But one thing that I don't necessarily recommend as a reseller is purchasing mystery boxes or like rescue boxes with damaged items from like sites like ThredUp. I've seen a lot of unboxings of like the rescue boxes, and I personally just don't recommend it because a lot of the unboxings I've seen, there's been a lot of bad boxes, even mystery boxes. I've seen a lot of bad mystery boxes. It's really a gamble that you are taking when you're purchasing these types of things. And I don't know, I just really wouldn't be happy with a lot of the boxes I've watched on YouTube, a lot of the boxes I've seen people post about on Instagram. There has been some good boxes, so if you do have a reliable source or know a reliable source, or have had luck with these types of boxes in the past, then by all means continue to purchase them. But personally, for me, I like to hand select all of the items that I'm going to be putting in my online stores, and I like to know what I'm investing my money in. So there's always a gamble that you're taking when purchasing these boxes. Wholesale is a different story, or buying pallets. But I'm just talking about like the damaged rescue boxes where they require a lot of work put in to list items that potentially may not sell, and then also like mystery boxes where you just don't know what you're getting. I just don't personally recommend that route. I think there's much better ways to find better inventory that'll bring in higher profits by just spending a little bit of extra time on these apps hand selecting items. So just like you would spend time in a thrift store searching for items, you can spend that same amount of time on Poshmark, Mercari, Ebay, whatever platform you choose to source from, and put it into searching for inventory on there. So let's go ahead and talk about Poshmark first and how I use the filter tool. So the first thing I like to do is I like to filter by brand. So what I did is I took a look at the brands in my closet already. Took a look at the sell-through rates of brands in my closet, what brands have the best sell-through rates, and I chose those brands to go ahead and source from. I do have a video talking about the sell-through rate formula and how to find sell-through rates for specific brands in your closet. I don't know how to post a link on the screen yet. I do need to figure that out, but I will post a link to the video down below if I can, if you want to check that out. But for me, popular brands, if you've watched some of my haul videos, I love selling Free People. I love selling Anthropologie, Athleta, Lululemon. Those brands all sell very well for me. So those are the brands that I'm filtering. And then I like to filter to all available listings. And then I'll filter from price low to high. And then I filter, I just make sure that all sizes is selected, or that I don't have my personal sizes selected, because I do source all sizes, from very small sizes to very large sizes. It really doesn't matter to me. I'll sell anything and everything in between. I have those filters in place. I will just start scrolling through the items, and the way that I do it to make it a little bit faster than clicking on every single listing that I might be interested in is I just like listings that may potentially be something I'm interested in. So I don't click on the listings, I don't open them up, I just go through and I like listings that look like they might be promising. And that saves me a lot of time, because then I can go back in my likes and open up each individual listing. Once I've opened up a listing, I will then read the description and see if there's any damage noted. If there's any damage noted, I'm instantly uninterested in the item and I click off of it, I unlike it, and I move on. I don't personally have time to be putting into stain removal and sewing and fixing items. And if I'm paying up for the item online, I really don't want to have to be spending extra time on it. So those listings, not interested in. The next thing that I will do is I will go to the Poshers closet if it is an item I'm interested in, and I will see if there's any other items in their closet that I could potentially bundle the item with. So the more items you can bundle, the better deal you can get per item, because there is a $7.11 shipping discount. You've really hit the jackpot if you can distinguish between a seller on Poshmark who is just selling from their personal closet and a seller who is a reseller on Poshmark. If you can find a seller who is selling from their personal closet and they have a lot of good brands, like maybe they shop a lot at Anthropologie or Free People, and they price their items pretty low. So if you can find a closet like that, then you've really hit the jackpot. I have come across a few of those closets and bought bundles from them. I also go back to their closets every so often to see if they're listing new things. There are a few sellers who I've purchased multiple bundles or items from, just because I think that sellers, some sellers that are selling from their personal closet are looking just to make a few extra bucks and get rid of some items. They're really not looking to make a large profit on the items, so they may be willing to let the items go at a lower cost than maybe a reseller would, who knows more the value of the item in the reselling market. So those are the type of items or closets that I look for. One way to tell is by photos. So typically I can tell a reseller's closet versus a seller who's selling from their own personal closet by their photos. Resellers typically have like the fancier, more well-lit photos, versus sellers from their own closets actually may have poor photos. And that is another thing I'm looking for when I am sourcing online, is I look for items that may look like they're potentially good items, but the photos are very poor. Maybe the photos are blurry, the lighting's bad, the angle's bad, the item's really wrinkly. Whatever it is, doesn't mean it's a bad item, it's just a bad photo of the item. So a lot of times bad photos will turn people off from clicking on the listing, and people may not even realize how great of an item is listed for so cheap because they don't ever click on it. So definitely still take a look at those items. And like I mentioned before, you guys, after you consider the condition of the item, if they don't clearly state what the condition is, don't be afraid to ask. I have asked many times, is there any stains, holes, damage to the item? Just because I want to make sure that if I do receive an item not as described, I can easily open up a return case and get my money back for the item. So this has happened to me probably 5 or 6 times now since I started sourcing online. I have had to do, I think, about 3 or 4 returns because of this, but don't be afraid to open up return cases and send the items back if they are not in the condition you thought they were going to be in. Remember, you're purchasing these items to resell. If you thought you were getting an item in a certain condition, it arrives damaged or in a very used condition that you weren't expecting, send it back. It's not worth your time. Just open up the return case, send it back, find something else that you can sell. Okay, another thing I want to talk about is sending offers. Do not be afraid to send out offers, even if you feel like they are slightly lowball offers. I know some people can get offended by low offers, but remember that you are purchasing these items to resell, and you need to stay within profitable margins in a profit margin that you are comfortable spending for each item. And if you can't do that, if the buyer is not willing or the seller is not willing to sell you those items within a range you are comfortable spending, then just move on. So I have sent out tons of offers. Some have been ignored, some have been declined, but a good amount of them have been accepted. So that is how I find the best deals, is I send out offers. And I negotiate prices if the seller is willing to negotiate with me. So don't be afraid to do that. This is your business. You need to get these items at a price point that is profitable for you, or it's not worth your time invested in the items. So just remember that. Don't be afraid. Send out those offers. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Mercari now and how I filter over there to find the best deals. So on Mercari, I also filter by brand. There is a little drop-down menu where you can modify your filter even more. So I hit the filter for sale because if you don't, it will show you all of the sold listings and it will just take you a lot longer to sort through listings. So just make sure you have for sale marked. I typically look for items with free shipping on Mercari because a lot of times on Mercari, I just buy single items, whereas on Poshmark, I'm trying to buy bundles. I have tried to bundle a few times on Mercari. There is no bundle feature like there is on Poshmark, where you can go in and make your own bundles. The only way to do it is to privately message the seller and ask them if they will create a bundle for you. I have tried to do this 2 times now on Mercari, and both times did not turn out well for me. So I haven't messed with it again, but it's definitely an option. If you see multiple items on someone's page on Mercari, you can definitely message them and see if they'll give you a discount or maybe a discount on shipping if they bundle the items together. But I don't typically do that anymore. I just look for items with free shipping, so I check mark the free shipping. I typically filter depending on the brand. I will pick the price point. So like with Free People and Anthropologie, I'm usually looking at spending $18 or less with free shipping. Sometimes I'll raise that a little bit if I'm looking for a specific item within a brand that I may be willing to pay up a little bit for. But just for like typical items, I'm looking at $18 free shipping and less. The cool thing about Mercari is that you can save searches on there. So if there's certain brands that you want to save in your searches, you can definitely do that. And anytime somebody lists something underneath that brand, it will notify you that something new has been listed, so that if somebody lists something pretty cheap, you can jump on it really quickly. So definitely save your searches on there. And check them, pretty frequently throughout the day when you have time to see what has been newly listed and if anything that is newly listed is within the price range you want to spend. Another benefit to liking items, not only on Poshmark, but also on Mercari, is a lot of times buyers will send out offers. So sometimes I will like items that may be a little bit out of the price range that I want to spend, but shortly after or maybe within a couple of days, I'll receive an offer on the item that puts the item in a price range I'm comfortable spending. So don't be afraid to like items that may be slightly out of price range for you, because you never know what kind of offers that buyer is willing to send. I've noticed on Mercari that a lot of sellers use the price drop feature. So once they see that people are liking their items, they'll start price dropping it, or they'll send out private offers to people who have liked their items. So definitely keep items in your liked category. And yeah, that's what I do. And then sometimes I'll go back and filter through the items I've liked and just see what has been price dropped, if I get any offers, or what maybe I want to go ahead and send an offer out on. So one of the cool things about sourcing online that has really been working to my benefit is that I have been able to research the items before I buy them. So I will spend a little bit of time researching the items, looking for stock photos, looking for comparable solds, to see if it's an item that I do want to pick up. So a lot of times I don't have this much time to research my items when I am picking them up in thrift stores. But since I'm just sitting at home, I have time to do a little bit more Googling. And that has really been working to my benefit, because it really just helps in my decision making and whether or not I think the item is worth it. So I definitely recommend spending a little extra time researching the items. The only exception to this would be if you see something has recently been posted and it's at a really good price and you know you need to jump on it right away, or somebody else will probably buy it because it's definitely underpriced, then definitely do that. But those are typically items that you already know are worth more than what the seller is asking. So other than that, definitely research the items, spend a little bit of extra time. One thing that I base my buying decisions on is stock photos, whether or not I can find stock photos and whether or not I like the stock photos. So someone asked me on my last video that I posted if I could give tips on how I find stock photos, because I show you guys all the stock photos of the items I'm picking up. And honestly, I have the stock photos for those items because I find them before I purchase the items. So I'm buying items that I know have good stock photos. If I find an item and I look for the stock photo and I don't like the stock photo, I typically won't buy it. And a lot of times if I can't find a stock photo, I won't buy the item either, unless I know that I can model the item. If I know that I can model the item and I think it looks cute, or I think it would be cute, then I may consider purchasing it. But the only tips that I really have for you guys on finding stock photos is just Google. Google is your best friend. So if you're lucky enough and the seller posts a picture of the care tag, or maybe it's new tags and they post a picture with the style number, then you can definitely search for the item that way. A lot of brands like J. Crew, Free People, they will have the style numbers down on the care tags, and that is how I find stock photos. If I don't have the style number, then I just Google search details about the item with the brand in the title, and I just search, I filter to images, and I just look through images until I find the item, or hopefully find the item, and that's really all I do. I just Google and look through items until I find the item. Yeah, so I really don't have like a special trick or anything finding stock photos other than just Google searching. Sorry, I wish there was like a magic, something magical I could tell you guys about finding stock photos, but really that's all I do, is I just Google search. So another thing that I do during my decision making process when I'm deciding whether or not I want to purchase the item, whether it's worth it, is I also look at how the current seller is advertising their item, and I think about what can I do to improve this listing that would sell this item better. Is there something I can do to improve this that they're not doing, and potentially make a lot more for the item? So one thing to look at is their photos. Can you improve their photos? Is it really bad lighting? Are they bad quality photos? Because if that's the case, I definitely think that photos play a huge role in how much you're able to make for an item, and just getting people to click on your items. So definitely consider that. Also, is their description good? Are they describing the item well? I take extra time to write detailed descriptions of my items. I also provide measurements. I just like to do all of this because I think it makes the buyer feel a little bit more confident in purchasing the item when they can see all of the information right there, and they don't have to reach out and ask me for it. And then another thing is, are they categorizing the item correctly? Do they have the brand tagged? Do they have the brand tagged? Do they have the brand spelled correctly? Like, there's a lot of different factors that can play into how they've categorized the item. I know on Mercari, I find a lot of really good items that aren't even, the brand isn't even tagged, and they may not even have the brand in the title. It'll just say something like nice bag or cute top or something like that, and I just don't think people are seeing their listings. So those are the type of items you want to be looking for. And honestly, I just accidentally stumble upon these items by finding one item that I like and going to the seller's page and just looking at the other things they have for sale. If they have a really good brand or a really good item priced cheap, they might have a lot of other really good items priced low too. So definitely check out their pages and look and see what else they're selling. Another thing I forgot to mention earlier in the video is when you are going through and you're looking through your filtered searches, if you see an item over and over again, that's a good indication that that item from that brand is not selling well. And that is one reason why I just go through and like items instead of clicking on them and opening them up, because this gives me a really good visual of what items within that brand are priced really low and nobody wants. Like, you may notice you see the same top or the same dress over and over again priced under $15 or priced under, $20. And that right there is a good indication that that is not a good item to pick up. It's not selling well. Even if the photos are bad, there's a lot of them priced cheap, so do not pick that item up. And yeah, you will see that. So I look for items that I can single out, something that has poor photos or that's not categorized correctly, and that there's no others listed low in that price range. So those are the type of things you want to be looking for. And yes, it does take a little bit of extra time, but like I mentioned before, you would spend time digging through racks at a thrift store to find that one really good item. So you might have to spend time digging through items online to find that one really good item. So kind of falls along the same lines there. Okay guys, so my last tip for you, just like I mentioned before in this video about looking in your own personal closets at your sell-through rates with specific brands, also look at your sell-through rates with certain categories within your closet. So what I mean by that is like dresses versus sweaters, shoes, shorts, whatever, tops, whatever category sells best for you and for the highest profit margins. So my 3 best-selling categories are dresses, shoes, and sweaters, which is why you've probably seen me picking up a lot of dresses, shoes, and sweaters in my haul video. I guess shoeses, did I say shoeses? I feel like I just said shoeses. Maybe not. Okay. Anyways, I haven't picked up a ton of shoes. They are a little bit harder to find online just because the shipping is typically a little bit more unless I can find them on Poshmark. I have bundled a few pairs on Poshmark, but mostly dresses and sweaters I have been picking up a ton because those are 2 of my best selling categories. So definitely take a look at your own closet, see what categories sell best for you, see what brands sell best for you, and stick with that. Stick with stuff that's familiar. You could definitely branch out. I have branched out a little bit and picked up brands that I've never found before here and there. So don't be afraid to do that as well. If there's a certain brand that you've always wanted to find and you want to filter through that brand and see if you can find something, but do your research on it as well. So yeah guys, that is pretty much it. That is all my tips for sourcing online. I hope this was helpful to some of you. If you guys have any questions for me, don't be afraid to ask. You can definitely leave me a comment down below, or you may be able to reach me a little bit quicker if you message me over on my Instagram page. I'm typically on there a little more frequently, so I will leave my Instagram. It's also Thrifty Mom of 2. I will leave that link down below, so don't hesitate to message me. I'm happy to help. And yeah, I hope you guys found this useful. I have currently been very happy with how my online sourcing is going. I've already sold a lot of items and very quickly that I have sourced online. And I feel like I've already made a decent profit on it. So I'm continuing to source online. I'm buying at least 1 or 2 things every day or every other day just to keep a continuing flow of inventory coming in so that I do have new exciting items to list in my closet. And this may be something that I do continue to do even after thrift stores open up in my area. I still will probably source in person as well, just because I can lower my cost of goods a little bit that way. However, because I've been having good success with this so far, it may be something that I just implement into my business plan altogether. But I will update you guys a little bit more with that here in the future. So definitely stay tuned for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up on your way out if you did. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that little bell notification down below so you do get notified when I post new videos. And I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.